Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Haggett Hill. I have a simple little project today. I'm getting ready to do some sanding on the walls in my bonus room over the garage, and I wanted to make me a cheap, inexpensive dust collector. So let's see what I make out of this free Harbor Freight bucket. Watch along, see how we make a simple dust collector for next to nothing. All right, let's show you the tools that I have, or the pieces I have. Got a 45-degree fitting. Got that at Menards, $2. Got a free bucket from Harbor Freight. I think I had to pay $1.50 for the lid, so we're in it for about $3.50. Now this kit right here, this came off of Amazon. This is actually from PowerTech, and what it does, it's just a piece of about 10-foot hose, but it's got several different fittings on the end, and with these fittings, they plug right in to my sanders and all the different power tools that I have. So I did purchase this. It's not really part of the Cyclone, but it does come in handy. Got several different fittings to use on that. It was about $12, $15. I don't know. I'll put a link in the description below. If you want one of these, you can click that link, and I'm an Amazon associate, and I get a little commission off of that. Cost you the same thing either way. So let's get started. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to take the bucket lid. We're going to drill a hole in it. This is one of the fittings that came with this PowerTech kit. I'm just going to drill a hole in it, stick this in there, put some silicone around it. May put a screw in it to hold it in, but I think the silicone will probably work. So we're going to drill a hole right in the center here. Perfect. Should have drilled that one just a little bit smaller, but it'll work out just fine. So we're going to caulk this one in to get it to hold into place. Should have used a smaller hole saw on it, but what I had at the time. Anybody else use their finger to smear caulk? It gets all over the place, but it's good and effective. So let's set this aside. All right, now the next thing we're going to do is going to put this in here, drill a hole in it somewhere just so it fits. We'll probably leave the handle on the bucket just to make it easy to carry. Let's go right below this lip. My hole saw was kind of jerry-rigged. I couldn't find the arbor that actually went with that particular saw, so we make do with what we got. Alright, so this will fit in here just like this. I'll put some caulking around it. We'll put it in here. That's what it'll look like on the inside. So when the vacuum cleaner hose is stuck in here, this comes from the sander. It goes in here and it makes a cyclone, and it'll cycle down. It should work out just perfect. I've seen some people make these on YouTube, and they used hot glue, different things, but I've got this silicone caulk. Put it on there pretty liberally. It should work like a charm. That ain't going to be real pretty, but that's okay. I'm not worried about real pretty. I'm just worried about it working. We'll put some caulk around the inside. We'll let this dry, and then we'll come back and test it out. All right, looks like the caulk set up all right overnight. Did on the lid as well. That turned out well. The bucket is empty. Let's take this over to the bonus room and hook up the shop vac and do a little bit of sanding just to see if it's going to work. Well, we're up here in the bonus room. We're not going to work too long today because it's afternoon now and it's already warm. But here's my shop vac. Going to plug it into the outlet, into the top of the bucket. Here's the hose that goes to my sander. We'll plug it into the outlet on the side. The other outlet will go into the sander. Set the vacuum on. Got good suction here. We'll set the sander on. Alright, well that's enough just to make sure it's going to work. I do see a problem already. See the problem? The bucket sucked in. So we'll have to figure that out. I don't expect there to be a lot of dust in here. Not if you had it hooked up to like your table saw or something like that. But I know it's working because when you sand in an environment like this, sand is everywhere. Well, you can look down in there. Sand in the bucket. So it's doing its job. I got to figure out how to keep this bucket from compressing now. Well, to fix that problem with the bucket sucking in, I actually took a second bucket and cut it off just below the rim where the handle mounts on and stuck it down in the bottom, so essentially doubling the thickness of the bottom side of the bucket. Put my fitting back in. Of course, my fitting on the lid was okay. So we'll turn it on now. We'll sand a little bit, and we'll see if it happens to suck the bucket in. If it doesn't, then we'll call it a success. Well, the bucket looks normal and not sucked in, so we're going to call that a success. So we'll get to sanding the rest of this room. Let me show you what I'm going to do. Let me give you a close-up of this wall. These are D-shaped logs. They're rounded on the outside and, of course, flat on the inside. In between these is a 45-degree bevel. It's a little bit hard to get in there with a sander, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my angle grinder with a flat disc. If y'all ever use a flat disc, they're great for metal, wood, whatever. This one has been used quite a bit. You never want to use a new flat disc on wood unless it's something you want to take off a lot of material. This has been used kind of quite a bit. It's pretty slick. So we're going to put it on the angle grinder. We're going to go through here real quick, both sides, top and bottom, and just smooth these 45-degree bevels out. Once that's done, we'll come back with the sander. We'll do this wall and the matching wall on the other end. First with 80 grit, and then we'll do 120, and then we'll call that done. And then I've got to come through here and caulk up these cracks. There's no air coming through, but they have shrank up a little bit. So I do want to fill in these gaps with caulk, and I use Sashco Log Builders caulk. And I got some of that on order. Should be here in the next few days. Once we get it all sanded, we'll get this caulked up. Then we'll put a clear coat on these logs, and we'll be ready to start finishing out the rest of the room. We're going to say that this simple and cheap bucket dust collection system works. I won't bore you with you watching me sand all these walls. It's tedious and monotonous, so no need to watch me do that. When I come back and start finishing out this room, I'll bring you along for the progress of that. I do appreciate you stopping by and watching this little project here on Haggett Hill. If you need a dust collector for your shop vac, that's a simple and cheap way to do it. couple of buckets, couple of plumbing fittings. If you already have a shop vac, then you got all that you really need. So, thanks again for watching here on Haggett Hill. Remember, if you like my content, please like and subscribe. Leave me a comment. I like to answer each and every one of them. God bless to you and your family.